What it is, mi gente, it's your girl Nina Montañez.
And it's your girl Paula WJ.
And you are tuning into Brown and Urban
Life BC.
Another episode.
I would be like, woo, but I'm like, I always do that. It's
either this
or...
I was out here just making cyclones or tornadoes. Whatever. Everything's fine. Cool.
It's like, everything's fine.
So, welcome to this week's episode. Kind of got a glimpse into what we're going to talk about, which was a perfect segue into transitions, right? Mm-hmm. So, when we talk about our Christian walk, you probably hear a lot of people talking about convictions and, God transitioned them out of. But we just kind of wanted to shed some light on a couple of things that we were convicted of and the transitions that were made, some slowly, some dumb fast. And, we might still be got whiplash. But I think that's it. We think that it is important to know that it's going to look different for everyone. Like, what she might have been convicted of might not be my conviction, but I am mindful, like if we were to go out and do something like, oh, like you're not into that, so I might not want to just so that whatever. But she could also be like, oh, that's totally fine. Like everything's okay. It's all right. It's not going to affect me. But like, just like diving into that and what that looks like. So
yeah, I think there's like different avenues of like what we could talk about in terms of transition. I know that we both kind of talked about when we first came back and, got into the faith for our own personal walks. It's like, there's no rule book other than the Bible, right? But right, there's a book.
A book.
There's a book. There's the book. Get out of my head.
Yo.
Get out of it. But I'm saying like, there's no like, and I think we touched upon this a little bit as well, but when you're transitioning, there's all these rules that people will make up around you, right? Like, oh, you can't listen to this music, you can't dress like this, you can't do this, and all this other stuff. But
it only starts to feel legalistic.
It does. You just have to go through it yourself and build a relationship with God, because when you start trying to like take things out of your life by your own power, it's not gonna work. Like it's gonna come back.
Yeah.
Because you don't have that power to cleanse yourself, right? Like only God has that. And I think that there's a lot of grace that God gives on that behalf, but there's so much grace that I think gets lost for yourself in those transition periods. Yeah. So like one of the things that we were talking about, right, was like music, right? Like I was listening to like trap. I was listening to if it had a swear in it, I was listening to it. If it had like word curses in it, I was listening to it. And we're probably like, I wouldn't listen to none of that stuff. Most of the songs that are secular are that, and it's not a judgment.
Yeah.
It's just a fact, right? This is people talking about their real lives, and these are people talking about things that aren't their real lives. They just think that's what sells, So it's like, which is another issue because people are buying things and listening to things that people are just making because it sells, meaning that they're selling a lifestyle that they probably
they're
don't
not actually living. Yeah.
Exactly. And then you want to live that said lifestyle and it encourages it. So that's why I was like, I'm going to switch my music. And that happened very, very gradually at first.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that.
Yeah. Because like my Spotify, like the rap, which everybody complained about because they said it looked like a bot or like AI did it. I was happy because mine said you changed. Literally, mine said your music taste has changed, and I thought that was dope because at the beginning of the year it was like you were listening to like Summer Walker and you was listening to like all these other R&B artists and rap like artists, and then by like March of 2024 it like shifted and it was just only Christian music. So that's just like one avenue, and I think we could probably dive into so many different ways to transition, but I do think it'll look really, really different for like so many people, and I think it's important to call it out because there's no right way to do it, just the Bible way to do it.
Yeah. I think for me the music wasn't hard because I saw this one post that was like, yo, Christian music is literally just like R&B music. Y'all talking about the only thing that's different is y'all talking about the same dude. And I was like,
Facts.
I think that's why I like it so much because I'm an R&B head. Like I love R&B, so it wasn't a hard transition to make. I also like was never big on rap. Never really big into trap music, especially for my Latinos, our community. I'm not big into dembow. I'm not big into reggaeton.
Even I'm big into that.
She's like, I'll be in it. Like it place and time, right? Like I'm not like, oh my god, shut it off. My ears can't. That's not my conviction. Like I can be in a restaurant and Bad Bunny can be playing, and I'm like, oh, okay. Am I making a shrine for Bad Bunny like a lot of my peoples have? I am not. That I am not.
I'm gonna pray for you.
You understand? It's too much. It's too much. Mi gente, cógelo con tequerisi. Cógelo suave. And so it's just music is just I thoroughly enjoy that aspect. I think for me when we talk about like transitioning, for a while it wasn't my language. And because for a lot of people that I know, it happened very rapidly. It has been a struggle. I'm not about to sit here and tell you that I am speaking Christianese and it is all...
Christianese is crazy. What's Christianese?
It's the Christian way to explain things and talk about things. How you doing? Blessed and highly favored? You ain't got no problems? The Lord got me. Huh? The Lord know my heart. What? You cussed out 3 people at a stop sign. Stop playing. Well,
why are you telling my business? No, I'm kidding.
But I think this in my everyday language, like I ain't gonna hold y'all. I'll be on my Samuel L. Jackson stuff.
Why are there snakes on this plane? You feel?
And my issue is that sometimes
so you be on the sailor. You be on the sailor too.
What? Trucker, sailor, you name it. Unfortunately, that is where I'm at. And it took me I think that it might be one of the last things that the Lord is transitioning me out of. I don't know what the other things are because I'm like, I feel like you done took everything else.
Like, hush, child.
Right.
I'll reveal in my own time.
when I feel like you are equipped to handle it, I will reveal it. But swearing is and for the first time, I think I had said it to you. I was like, yeah, I think the Lord's convicted me for sure. And I think that this podcast coming to fruition is a huge part of it because I don't want to be a hypocrite. But I understand that there's going to be stumbling, there's going to be falling, but I want to be completely transparent. And the reason that I'm saying this, because I was going to keep it to myself, I'm saying this to like be held accountable. And I think that my mindset is like, but sometimes it just feels good, or sometimes it just fits the story, or just fits the... I feel, but the word says...
We got the trademark for that.
You understand at this point. I feel... but the word says... So, send me scripture. So that I can... she got KJV, I got NIV.
I like my Shakespearean.
You understand? I like it... I'm a simpleton. I like it a little simpler. Maybe not the Message Bible, because then I feel like it really be getting lost in translation.
Facts.
But
no haterade, no shade.
I like actually compared it one day because I was like, "What's the difference?" And I was like, "Oh,
too much juice is lost.
Too much. Too much. It was too watered down." I was like,
Don't lose your train of thought.
Still would love a. I still side quest. I would still love a hood version.
I knew you were about to go to side quest.
I did. You could see it in my eyes. I went cross-eyed for a second. But anyways, but yes, swearing. So she's trying to keep me on track. The ADHD is crazy. But so that is for the first time recently. I think like maybe end of November, early December is where I started to be like, this is a little much.
Is it like because when you said it, like you feel like you felt something, or more so like?
Oh, I think every other word out of my mouth because I was angry about something, and I was like, bah, 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 bah. There was like no not swear. I don't know how I did it, but there was like maybe an and or a but. That was like all that was in that. Bah, 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 bah. And I'm like, that was excessive.
Well, you have to tell yourself that.
I literally was like, no, it's excessive.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing too much. And I remember one day I was telling my sister, I was like, yo, bro, see, I be cussing too much. You know, bro, I was going to tell you that.
I just wanted you to get there.
I just kind of wanted you to, like, get there. And then I was talking to a friend, and he was like, yeah, bro, normally I could stomach it, but,
You know when was he a non, like, not a non?
No, a believer, but he was like, yeah, right, sis?
You going?
We gotta...
Did we hit record? It's a good thing we have this on. But...
Oh my god. Oh my god. One day we're gonna get everything right. One of my friends was like, yeah, bro, it's a lot. And for a dude to be like, you going through something? You couldn't finish a sentence without swearing. And I realize it's when I'm like truly aggravated or I get very angry. And I need to really hone in on that because there's no way I can be a representative. And people know that I'm a representative. And that is the language that I'm choosing in those moments, especially within secular spaces, right? Because it's crazy how I can shut it off completely on Sunday when I'm in church.
You're making a conscious decision.
I'm making why can't I make that conscious decision Monday through Saturday? Why is it only on Sunday? You know what I mean? And not only that, like I'm at work, so like okay, no, but if I'm in my office and it's just me and one other person, I'm going off. And I'm just and even as the words are coming out of my mouth, it's like and it's like I could have. You're so smart. Let's get a thesaurus. There's so many other words you could have used to describe a situation, and why were those the ones that you hadn't strapped
right here? All the other words you were like, just throw them away.
Throw them away. Cast them to the wind, and it just it's gonna be tough.
But like that's what it says in the word, right? Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks, right? And so I think that it's like a great mercy that like because it's not even because I used to swear like a sailor too, and I do feel like it melted off of me quickly, but that doesn't mean that I don't still struggle with it. And I think that's a totally separate thing to talk about, which is like something God will take something off of you really, really fast as a mercy because you might need it really fast to be taken off of you, but that doesn't stop the fact that you will be tempted to utilize it or want to go back to it, and that's on you to like figure out, and He will help, but like it's your choice. But I think that like it's such a mercy that God shows you those things because what He's basically kind of saying, right, is like, okay, like we fixed this part. Next project, right, which is this, and because like I think you were saying, you were like, yeah, I haven't been convicted of that. I remember you
sitting in this exact spot, mad confident 2 months ago. No, I haven't been convicted of that yet.
He was like, you know when you pray that prayer that of like unclog my ears so I can hear?
Yeah.
He said, bet. Now it is time.
Prepare thyself, daughter.
Yes.
It's going to be an uphill battle.
But yeah, I think that that's like a real thing. Like, I didn't realize how many things that were in my heart that He was like, that comes out of your mouth. Like, how you speak about yourself, like, how you speak to others, like, my impatience that I've been working on. Lord knows my patience is, that's the transition. I'm waiting for that, like, I've learned. Because I'm still in it. Especially in the car. That's the one place I can't hold my patience, but I will. It's
not
happening.
Me saying, great is your...
Why can't you? Your mama. I don't know their mama.
And why your mama catches strays?
And you know what? The Lord has been giving me a mercy because as soon as I get mad, I've been better.
I immediately am like, oh.
The Lord shows me a vision every single time. There are people who die over this. Don't get yourself taken off of this planet when I need you to be used because you want to be upset. And I was like...
And on that note, mi gente, I think that we can wrap up.
I'm so serious.
No visions. I will crush this card right now.
It's like not like but like just like those instances where I'll be like ready to be like, I'll remember like, oh yo, there's people who have actively like in the news. Like I know somebody whose cousin died from a road rage situation. So it's just like, when I think about doing, especially when I be about to get in my bag.
Yo, because of what?
He be like, so you just trying to get taken out this world.
Because we're just not doing this.
Yeah. Because he's like, I can save you, but like if you just gonna keep...
I can.
Yeah.
However, you gonna keep going.
You keep choosing this route.
You can meet me a lot sooner than we intended.
Is this how you want to meet me? You mid-swearing at somebody? Can you imagine?
Send me back.
Can't do.
Yikes.
Got to see it through, my boy. That's what it is.
Got to be more careful. Yeah, no. Yo, the amount of times I've literally been like in my car worshiping, and then it's like I gotta pump the brakes because someone ran a stop sign, and I'm like, you. Christ is my foundation.
It's the immediate go. I feel like that's what he's been convicted me of, because I used to just smoothly go back into worship. Because like, mind you, now I don't play secular music in my car. One time I did for other people, and I was like, I don't like that feeling. I don't want to do that. I'm not about to, fold for whatever you want.
I hold you. I still do that. When I get in my car, I'm like, Bad Bunny it is.
I know.
I don't even like mans like that.
But I'm gonna stop doing that now. After that last time, I'm like,
y'all better pop in your headphones or something while you're in the car, because I'm like, there ain't no way.
But yeah, that's what I felt.
Especially if they're, I think it's when they're unbelievers that you're just like,
Cause like the last
believers, y'all gonna get this worship.
Facts.
Y'all
but
gonna
it
get
just
this
be
worship.
because like I don't want you to. If you say anything about my music, I'm gonna be mad, and I don't.
And
want
I
that for
don't
you.
want to actually cuss you out.
Yeah.
So,
because I'm not supposed to be doing that. But then I also feel like, is that still a part of me that like still feels? To speak boldly about the Lord, right? Is like. It's not just getting on the podcast and doing it. It's also doing it behind.
Living it. Yeah,
living it. And so...
And that's where my convictions are coming in. I'm like, you're going to sit in front of this camera because you're being obedient and then be... And that's why I'm sharing it with y'all.
Facts.
I want to be transparent.
And I feel like that's what I was getting at. Like, that's one of my convictions now, because I used to be able to be like, XYZ, what are you doing? Great is your mercy. Like, all of that. And now I feel like the Lord is like, okay, great. We're learning baby steps. Now you're only getting mad 5 out of 10 times. Still a lot of growth.
Still
progress. But, he's like, but like, how about instead of getting mad at the person and then immediately going back into song, you actually take a moment of break. Because I've been praying to the Lord, in my moments of frustration and anger, give me moments of clarity, give me pockets of clarity, so that I can see you or hear you rather than the anger. So I've been trying that, and whenever I get mad, I'll be like, oh, stupid person. It's okay, I'm alive. Car, it's fine, I'm fine. They might be idiotic, but I'm okay. Great is your mercy. you know? So I take it as a win, and I think that those are like transitions that you have to kind of give yourself grace, because I don't know how long yours has been. You said like since November, December for the swearing.
Yeah.
And my patience, that's been a year. That has been a year journey. Just to get me to a 5 out of 10 has been a year.
I mean, it'd be like that.
Mm-hmm. Man, it's still gonna keep going.
I'm along with other transitions, right? In media, not social media, but just like movies, where we talk about music, right? I think that sometimes we have to be realistic and real with ourselves in terms of like when there are certain things that you struggle with. I'm keeping it a buck. The spirit of lust was heavy on me, and it was and I'm sure we'll talk about that at a later episode, like dive deeper into that. That was a conviction of like, I guess within that, I felt like there were certain things that I had to do in order to keep the attention of the man that I'm seeing at the time. And I never felt good about it. Like I always had that conviction. Like I knew this was wrong. And so I'd had to think about like, I don't make sure that like I don't really get drunk in public. I actually have never been drunk in public, but if there's someone that I was like dating, I was cutting back on when we would go out for dinner. not drinking, because then that kind of like wakes up the spirit of lust for me. So then I'm like, ooh, you look really good after 3 margaritas. Like, oh my God.
Give me one margarita.
You know what I'm saying? But like, it really was that.
Yeah,
so
no,
it's like being mindful, not that I can't drink, but being mindful, right? And that in itself, alcohol is not a conviction of mine. It's not my vice. But, you know, TV shows, certain music that would evoke this, like, I don't even know what to call it. You understand? Like, you know,
feel you.
And so I just, especially like TV shows, certain movies. So, and I've always been a creature of habit, so I stick to like the same things. So anything new, if I don't really know about it, I have to like Google it before, because I have to prepare myself if it's too much, but also had to learn that I needed to tell someone that, because and it ended up being my twin sister, and I was like, yeah, nah, like what the Lord has really showed me is that sometimes the spirit of lust wakes up because of a show that I'm watching or this music that I'm listening to. And I say that telling someone's important, because especially someone that really truly cares about you and your growth and like where you are in your journey. And my sister has always been a believer, but was never really seeking God for herself until recently. So even me being able to tell her that, and her, like, she was watching a show and she was like, oh, do you want to stay and watch the show with me, when I was at her apartment? And I was like, yeah, sure. And she goes, ooh, fair warning, there's a lot of sex in this show. She's like, so I can fast forward and like tell you when it's like gonna come up, and I was like, yo, like I really appreciated that.
Yeah.
And because of that heads up, I was able to prepare myself for it. Now I'm just keeping it a bug with y'all. Like there's just certain things I just can't.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would agree. I don't think I got it as like, I don't think I had it as succinct as you did in terms of like how you were able to explain it, but I think that, or not succinct, concise, which is pretty much the same word, but whatever. Neither here or there. Not SAT time. Buzzwords. But no, I think that kind of naturally happened with me in terms of TV and how I watch TV. I think we were talking about how like, yeah, there's certain shows that like I could watch in the past and not have a problem with, but now I'm just like, dang. There's mad sex in this. Like, was there always mad sex in this?
I remember someone wanted to rewatch Insecure, and I was like, yeah, I can't.
Because, you know, and it's to a point where it's like, I remember watching Insecure and being like, that's a lot. But I can't.
That's excessive.
Yeah, but not like, oh, that's a lot. I can't. I was just like, that's a lot. How did they do that? But then, like, you know.
How did they do that?
But now, I agree. Like, it tells us in the Bible, right, to not let the enemy get a foothold. And I think we don't fully understand what a foothold means, because
we're like, oh, it's on TV. There's nobody around. But then, y'all, when that thing is awakened, I'm just like, it's not just my heart that got a beat. So I'm like, what's going on here? And I'm keeping it a buck, y'all. I'm like, what?
This is my house that I am in.
It's happening. And it's like, yo, like and it sounds like silly.
But it's real. These are real things.
Yeah, and it's just like, these are real things that people like are dealing with. And I don't know that there have been many people talking about it. And I think that when you do hear about it, it's like, Shorty was an OnlyFans model that turned Bible, or they were all these things that turned Bible, and it's like, okay, but what about like the average everyday person? Yeah. That was just like, hey, I couldn't watch 50 Shades of Grey because, you know what I mean? That was college me. I did watch it because I read the books, but it's fine.
Same.
But I would not watch them today. Yes. I already read the books. I saw the movies. We good.
And I think what we're adding to that too is just the fact of like, this happens in your own path and time. Because I think I said it at the beginning, which is like, if you try to do this yourself, like, okay, you're hearing us talk and you're just like, dang, I watched this. Dang, I listened to this. Dang, I like that. Like at the end of the day, like I can't condone that, right? But you're going to have your own intimacy with God.
Yeah.
And as you pray and as you ask God to reveal things and remove things from you and show you things, those things are going to either feel like a mirror is going to be up against you to yourself, and you're going to be like, oh, I see myself now, I hear myself now doing this.
Yep.
Or it's going to naturally kind of like melt away based off of how you're changing your lifestyle anyways. Because believe it or not, the closer you grow to God, the more you are just not going to want to do certain things. And it's natural, but you're not in the driver's seat. And I'll say it over and over again. As soon as you try to put yourself in the driver's seat, this is you being Paula. And this is a reminder to Paula, right? When you keep trying to put yourself in the driver's seat, you are going to end up in a ditch. Okay? Just go ahead. Let God take the wheel. Let Jesus do it.
And be a passenger.
Won't he do it? And be a passenger princess or prince.
That's it.
Just do it. Because then it works out, you know?
Every time.
And it melts off of you naturally. Like,
Yeah.
I couldn't have ever imagined that I was not going to ever listen to, like, R&B music. I could have never imagined that. Now, my whole entire playlist is all, like, and it's, like, eclectic of different types of Christian music. But, like, it's all different vibes and feels. And it's my whole entire playlist.
Yeah.
I could have never have guessed that I wasn't going to drink anymore. Here I am. I could have never guessed that I wasn't going to want to go out and party. Literally could not have guessed it. Don't care to. I literally told my friends, you don't have to invite me anymore.
It's okay.
You don't have to. It's okay.
I get it.
I'm totally fine. I couldn't have ever guessed that I was going to spend my free time volunteering at a church. That was not on my bingo list.
Yo, facts. I mean, it's so interesting. Like when I look at how I am as a person, like I'm naturally introverted. I'm naturally a homebody. Naturally all these things. But it's like, okay, even though the things that I'm being convicted of are not things that I am outwardly portraying to the world, now these are intimate moments with God that he's like, hey, that right there, I need that. That thing that you don't want,
Give it here, Malfoy.
Give it to me. Then that's ultimately what it is, and that's how I learned about struggling with lust, because I'm like, okay, well, I'm dating this person. The world tells me that I can do these things, and it's like, yeah, but the word though, what does the word say? And so, you know, I want it to be like abundantly clear that we are people that are also struggling with our own vices, and you know, even though you might think that you're the only person in the world, like you're not. You're literally not.
You know what came to mind when you were talking? I was thinking about how, like, you know, when you say like the world tells me that because I'm in a relationship, it's okay for me to do. You know, I was thinking like in my own relationship how like when we first got together, and we were just like, there wasn't like a conviction if we wanted to, like, you know what I mean? Like we were like, well, we've gotten like really almost close, but we had it. And it was just like, it's weird. We don't feel a conviction. And now that I'm like deeper in my walk, I'm like, that's a test from the Lord, right? Because I don't know if you haven't, regardless, probably read it. It's, I believe it's in 1 Samuel. And it's just talking about how David is like on the run from King Saul. Because Saul has been trying to kill him. And I believe twice Saul gets delivered to David. And David could have murked him at any point in time. Like straight off, like Call of Duty style, could have murked
all
him.
Done.
Right.
Next.
This man had, you know, the rock and the sling with the Goliath, so he could have easily taken out Saul. So the first time that it happens, if I'm remembering it correctly, and I encourage anybody to go read it and come back and be like, oh, you didn't say it right. Cool. I'll take it. My bad. But the gist of the story is the PWJ version. Yeah.
Fact check it while she's talking.
Yeah, but go with 1 Samuel. I don't remember the chapter, so forgive me because I'm telling the story.
You just made it that much harder.
So
you just made it that much
I know, sorry. But basically, Saul is in reach of David. And David could have gone and killed him. But David had prayed on it. And the message that he received back was, do what you want, basically. Right? Basically, do, like, if you kill him, cool. If you don't kill him, also cool. David chose not to kill him. Even though he had every right, according to the world, he had every right to kill Saul. But
24.
There you go, see?
And 26.
There you go.
David, again, spares Saul's life.
And he had, in the first time, he had he had the it's not that he had the okay, it just was kind of like God was like, you choose.
Yeah.
And David, and I think more theologians. I was like, are they looking at rocks? Geologists.
Archaeologists?
Geologists.
For rocks?
Yeah.
What are archaeologists? Tombs?
Tombs, artifacts.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Mm-hmm. The root word. Words.
But like, moving on. The point that I was getting at was the fact of like, there wasn't a right or wrong answer, but there was a right answer. And David basically was like, well, he's still a man of God. He may have messed up, but he still was touched by God. He was called by God. And so I'm not going to be the one to take him out. And I think that when I bring it back, even down to just even like this, the moments of lust, right? It's like, well, I don't feel any conviction for doing this. But that's right. But like that's not the point. The point isn't that you feel the conviction, and not the point is you ain't supposed to, right? Because the word says you're not supposed to do that. So you choose not to do it, even though you can do it. Mm. And I think that it's just like it's an interesting thing, because I think in that moment we both were like, "You feel the conviction?" I was like, "No," and I was like, And now I'm like, "Dang, I didn't feel any conviction. What if God took his hand off of that moment to see what I would do?" And it wasn't for punishment. Like, I don't think it would be like, ha ha ha, tricked you, right?
It's like, no, I want to see what you're gonna do.
Yeah, because God doesn't trick, right? He's not going to trick you, but he will let a trick happen to you if it's necessary for the test. So he's not the one tricking you. There's a whole lot of enemies, a whole lot of spirits out there that will happily raise their hand and do it.
The counterfeit. Jesus.
But I think of all that to say, like, with the transitions that happen in your life, and there's going to be so many of them. Some of them are going to happen fast. Some of them are going to happen slow. Some people literally pray to God and be like, oh, don't make them go so fast. And he will oblige because he's a gentleman, but but I do think that, like, whatever transition that you're in, like, it's not about feeling shame or don't feel like you're not going fast enough, or because that was my problem. I was like, I'm not going fast enough. Why don't I know enough verses? Like, girl, you're not about to become Jackie Hill Perry overnight.
You understand? That, and like God had to humble me and was like, You not fasting? Baby, that's a diet. You're dieting. Because it's prayer and fasting. Prayer without fasting, fasting without prayer is just a diet.
We do intermittent fasting all the time. And you see how the world just took intermittent fasting and made it a thing?
And made it a fad? Yeah, and it's like, Nina, you could be further along if you would just be disciplined enough to even get a couple verses. And I was listening to Pastor Philip Anthony Mitchell, and he was talking about, legalism and, some churches or some people make you out to feel like you're the bad guy because you didn't read 3 chapters today. But why can't you just have 3 verses? Just get 3 verses. And you've heard like Jackie Hill Perry say that she's meditated on a verse, a single verse,
a comma.
You know what I mean? For weeks on end. And I think it's just so important to understand that you could probably be further along if you are disciplined enough to get in your word and not even just. It's real cute when y'all repost it in your story. It's real cute when you put it on your timeline. But are you living it, right? Like, are you, when you see that verse and you post it, are you then now going to your Bible to read it in totality instead of just trying to take it for face value and trying to make it fit your situation in order to sound deeper than your shallow self actually is?
I'm not the kiddie pool.
You know what I mean?
Which is, again, like, no shade of shade. Like, this is one of those moments too, I think, to, like, be honest, right? Like, and I do want to touch on one part because my brain is, like, trying to go to this other thread. But, like, I do think that there's, like, the moment of being like, okay, I'm not good at this yet. And if you're not good at something, right, if you're not good at discipline, right, because discipline is, like, doing something even when you don't want to do it. because the only way that you will make it a habit is if you keep doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you don't want to go to church, you go to church. Why? Because even when you don't want to go to church, that word is still going to get in you. Yeah. And so in a moment of time that you are going to need a word, I can't promise you it because I'm not God, but I strongly believe that the Holy Spirit is going to activate in you, and it's going to be like, activate in you, and he's going to bring that word forth, and you're going to be like, how did I know that word?
Yeah.
How did I? Because, I literally was thinking about, sorry, this is a side quest, but it's not. When I said out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks, I was trying to remember that verse from an episode ago. And when I did,
mad funny.
And now, like, I can recall it.
Mm.
That ain't me. Mm. I can't take, because I was trying.
The effort was being put.
It was being put in. But the other thing I wanted to say about the Bible, when you were talking about how, like, people sometimes trying to make it fit their needs, I've heard two things I will say. I've heard somebody say, like, oh, well, like, when you read the Bible, and this is no shade, right? Because if they watch this, I'm not coming for you. Okay? I'm only addressing it because people need to hear it. And if you do think I'm coming for you, you could text me and we could have a conversation. I would love to resolve it. But there was this point where it's like, well, I think you're supposed to be able to articulate the word based off of, like, you. And I'm like, the Bible's not about you. I was like, or interpret it. You're supposed to interpret it the way that, like, you understand it. Because we all understand it differently. And I'm like, culturally, I could probably understand that, right? Because, like, culturally, like, the way that people in Africa worship are going to be different from the way that people in South America worship. I get that, right? But the Bible ain't about you. It's about Christ. Literally, it's a love letter. Love letter. It's about his whole story.
That's like me taking your story and making it about me.
Mm-hmm.
That, huh?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
Yeah. So I just was like, you got to remember that the Bible
giving new age.
What it was giving was young and immature in the walk. Yeah. Because it, like, to give grace and
giving milk.
It's giving formula. Not from the tea. Need it from the source. But, like, not, and it's, like, not in a bad way. Like, all jokes aside, what it gave was, I don't have a firm understanding of what of who God actually is and who he shows himself to be in the word, but also the fact that, like, the Old Testament, like, to know these things, you have to study, right? That the Old Testament is Jesus hidden and the New Testament is Jesus revealed, right? And so these are things that you end up learning because you have to be disciplined and study the word, not just read the word, because anybody can read the word. The enemy knows the word backwards and forwards. You'll hear anybody who is in the church say this. Mm-hmm. I know people who know the word backwards and forwards. You can Google the word. I've had friends literally be like, no, the Bible says this. And I'm like, did you just Google that? Do you know the context of it?
Right.
Do you know who it was written to? Do you know who it was written about? Do you know what year it was? Do you know the customs that it was set in? Do you know the original language that it was written in? And that's not a problem if you don't know. Yeah. But what I am saying is to read the Bible means to be reading it Christocentrically, which means reading it with Christ at the center of it, no matter if it's Old Testament or New Testament. Because in some way, shape, or form, Jesus is in it. Mm-hmm. He's in every book. He may not necessarily always be clearly painted in the chapter, but if you try hard enough, he's there.
Oh, this is going to be so fun. The DMs are going to be crazy.
I know.
We need a team.
And we're getting a team.
We're going to get a team. Mm-hmm. God's going to bless us with a team.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I already thought of a name.
For the team? For
a person on the team. Because I remember this, I'm not going to say the name yet, but I remember this person saying that they struggled with their faith, and I bet you that they won't be struggling with their faith anymore. Not necessarily, I don't know when, but I know they won't be.
That's good.
I don't know. But
transitions, y'all. That really just be it. Mm-hmm. Transitions. And it's not... I know that a lot we always toss around, well, if God is, then why would... Because he loves you. Mm-hmm.
So much. Read the book of Hosea.
He loves you.
I'm sorry. I just
We're going to get that on a shirt for her.
Read the book of Hosea.
And you know what's crazy, y'all? I still haven't read the book of Hosea.
Read the book.
She said it every episode so far, and I still... Yeah. I'm in Matthew right now.
It's going to happen.
It's all right. It's going to happen. Mm-hmm. And so it's just, you're so funny, bro.
He loves you.
Got you in a chokehold. He loves you.
He does. He loves you.
Even though he knew I fall.
Like,
he loves you.
What about the Donnie McClurkin?
Oh.
We fall down. That's all I think about.
Oh, no, I was thinking of Kirk Franklin. That's so funny.
Shout out to Donnie McClurkin and
So
Kirk
good.
Franklin.
Right. But he just, like, he loves you. And he's not trying. It is to change you.
Mm-hmm. For the good.
For the good.
For your good.
For your good.
Mm-hmm.
And for his glory.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because if our father didn't love us, then he wouldn't discipline us. If our father didn't love us, then he wouldn't care to see it through when there is a change that is occurring, right? And I think it's just super important to understand that these transitions are necessary in the body of Christ, and they are not to harm you; they are to help you, especially if there is a plan for you. So there are just certain things that they cannot be carried into this, that he needs you to let go of. He needs to shed and wring out of you. And it's not going to all happen at once. And it's not going to be easy. And I can't stress this enough. Like, I love God with everything in me. And I know that he's real. And this sucks sometimes. And it sucks. But I would rather continue going after him and fall and get up and know that when I reach my hand out, he's right there every time.
Amen.
And then try to run to a world that'll chew me up and spit me out and not think twice about me.
It's true. I feel like you mentioned it, but it's in Jeremiah. It says he has plans to prosper us, not to harm us, right? So at the end of the day, like, you can take that with a grain of salt, or you can live by the word, right? Which is, the fact is, like, he made us in his image. He made us because he wants to share with us. He wants to be intimate with us. He wants to grow. He wants to see your growth, right? Because at the end of the day, after Adam and Eve did what they did, he could have easily said,
Deuces, the book would have ended right there.
Genesis,
Genesis
like
3.
I'm all set with y'all. After Noah, I really wasn't really rocking with y'all. Like, he easily said, y'all still acting like cockroaches.
After Noah, I really can't be messing with
He
y'all.
could have easily,
matter of fact, flood it all, reset.
You feel me? Because honestly, it was Adam and Eve, and then it was Cain, and Cain and Abel, and Cain literally said, "What? Where's your brother?"
Huh? What brother?
What? I don't know what I had a brother.
What his name is?
Right after that, God could have easily said,
"Wrap it up. Y'all is raggedy. Wrap it up."
So raggedy. So raggedy. I can't believe this. Can't believe this.
Y'all done messed up twice.
Like, in the same
book.
Oh my goodness. Right?
Oh.
But he didn't. He said he gave chance after chance after chance after chance. And on top of that, y'all don't sometimes understand this, and I'm saying y'all as it to me too, because I be forgetting.
Yeah.
And I think that that's just such a trick of the enemy that you have to keep reminding yourself of, like, yo, every single time that the enemy tried to, like, get rid of a bloodline that basically could bring Jesus to this earth, God had another way. It's like, even if you read in Esther, right? I said this. I don't know if I told you this. Did I tell you this?
Maybe.
I don't remember. So
You remember?
No, I didn't. You remember?
You remember?
No,
I don't.
Member berries? No, you don't know that reference. That's from South Park. It's member berries. Okay, look it up.
Dang, I haven't seen South Park in a minute.
But let me not lose my train of thought. In the book of Esther, it talks about let me pick it up. In the book of Esther, it basically talks about how, don't lose it, Paula. Don't lose it. Holy Spirit, help me. It talks about
Bring it back, Holy Spirit. Bring
how
it back.
the Agagites, because there it is. I'm gonna mess up his name, Haman, or he's the bad guy. He's the villain of the story, pretty much, right? And his name begins with the H. And I'm so upset, but I'm not gonna. I can't. But check it. In the book of Esther, there's Haman, or the H-man, and he's the villain, and he pretty much has beef with Mordecai, who is pretty much like Esther's like substitute dad, right? Like stepdad, but he like adopted her in because her parents died. I'm not going to give all the details. I'm just giving all the background so that you can kind of get the story. And he basically has like utilized the king's power because he's high up in there. He's an official to basically put out a hit on all the Jewish people. Yes. And he's an Agagite. And and this is why studying is so fundamental and fun when you actually start to see how the Bible connects for yourself. If you trace the Agagites back, it's back to 1 Samuel with Saul, because God told him to kill the Ammonites. It's another group. I think it's the Ammonites or another A group. And if you remember this, if you read the book and you remember it, there's a part where basically Saul was like, but like, there's a couple of people I kind of want to save. He was supposed to kill all of them. And instead of killing all of them, he saved a couple people. The prophet at the time, Samuel, was like, God told you to kill all these people, but you didn't, so now I got to kill them. Ooh. But a couple of them left and got out. And it was King Agag that Saul had saved. And some of the people that left were obviously followers of Agag, a.k.a. the Agagites. And so had they killed off all the people that they were supposed to kill off, then this little branch wouldn't have made it through for such a generation. And they did, and they were like an enemy of the Jewish people at the time. So then you go centuries later, here they are rearing their head, enemy using them as a way to kind of clear out a bloodline, because he was trying to murk every single Israelite. It didn't matter where you were. It was in different towns and provinces. He was like, hooty hoo! Here the money. I'm about to pay y'all to kill all these people. Everybody was signing up for murder. It was like the purge. They were all the provinces were like, yeah, sounds right. Pay them the money.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Like, I need to go back and read Esther, because I'm like, yeah, I'm familiar with it, but like, I'm not familiar with it
because it's not the main premise of the story. Yeah. Like, it's the premise of the story because he's the villain in it, but it's not the main premise in it. All I'm saying, I think what I was trying to get at the storyline was just like, there's like a level of obedience that has to happen, but also like, if God is telling you to do something, it's not going to be fun. And it may be really hard to do, but there's reasons why, and there are implications as to why he needs you to do something. And because it may not directly affect you right now in this moment, doesn't mean it might not affect you later on, or it may not affect somebody else. And you know what God is so merciful for? And I think a little bit funny is he'll show you why he needed you to do something that you didn't do and how it affects somebody else. And then you'll be able to know, that's why I was supposed to do that.
Yeah.
Which is a mercy, because now you know, oh, I should probably listen the next time.
Yeah.
That's it. That's my 2 cents. Sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry, but...
Sorry, I'm not sorry.
I am going to look up the name, though, so you say what you're going to say.
I have nothing else to say.
Give me a little tab. I got the tabs on here. I'm all like...
Girl, you got tabs.
I can't say.
Meanwhile, I'm like, New Testament, Old Testament. I mean, just straight up.
Yeah.
We gonna learn it. We gonna learn it.
I found Esther.
I found her.
Hey, I realized I read Esther in the NIV, and I'm in the KJV, and the name is different. His name is... Oh, no, just kidding. That's his father's name. Just kidding. It's the same names. I was lying. Forgive me.
I'm like, it really don't be that much different. The names be the same.
No, it's usually the same.
Yeah.
I looked at the father's name, and I was like, I don't remember his name being...
Setting.
His name is Haman. No D. I was saying Hammond, like Fred Hammond.
See, I only heard Haman.
No. It's Haman.
Nice.
Or Haman. However way. I don't know.
Right, y'all.
Anyways.
With all that being said, mi gente, I'm Nina Montañez.
I'm Paula WJ.
That's all we got.
Later, haters.